Do you ever feel overwhelmed by the ever-changing world of technology? Tech It Out can help make some sense of it all. Breaking down geek speak into street speak, technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman covers consumer technology each week for every listener. Mark tackles the latest news, reviews, and how-tos to help you understand what's hot, what's not, and why.
Hey everyone, welcome to episode 209 of Tech It Out. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. We have a packed show planned for you this hour. We'll kick things off in a moment with Western Digital, who's joining us to chat storage for students. After that, I'll share some back-to-school picks as well, as will tech expert Carley Knobloch, who will join us on the show. We'll learn about a new AI-powered personal assistant called MeetKai, and a lot more on an all-new Tech It Out, powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible, which I'll tell you more about shortly, but let's officially kick off the show with our first interview. Kids, cue the eye rolling. Yep, it's almost back to school time. And along with important gear that you'll want to rely on, like laptops and fast Wi-Fi, don't forget about the importance of storage in order to expand how much space you have to hold important files, which is especially true for Chromebooks, as well as to back up your schoolwork to a local offline solution in the event something happens. To tell us all about SanDisk microSD cards, WD My Passport drives, and other student solutions that make the grade, we're joined by Brian Pridgeon. He's Director of Marketing at Western Digital. Welcome back to the show, Brian. Good to chat with you.
Hello, Mark, and thank you for having me.
Before we talk about micro SD cards, as I hinted at, and My Passport drives, please give us a Western Digital 101, if you will. Remind us about the company and some of the brands under the umbrella of Western Digital.
Absolutely. Western Digital is one of the largest companies in the world that manufactures storage, from enterprise storage that big companies like Facebook and Amazon may use to run their data management systems, to consumer solutions like we all use when it comes to products like Western Digital. We make our WD brand that you all have seen. It's My Passport. You'll see hard drives. You'll also see SSDs. But we also are responsible for the SanDisk brand of products. And the SanDisk is the number one consumer storage brand in the world, trusted by professional photographers. So all of us that have digital cameras, we have smartphones that have microSD cards in them, or even USB devices. SanDisk is all about those type of products, in addition to the Chromebook products that we'll talk about today.
So speaking of which, Chromebooks are incredibly popular today, especially among students, because they are often less expensive than a comparable Windows or a Mac-based computer. But one of the downsides to Chromebook is not a lot of local storage. So with that in mind, tell us about the SanDisk Ultra micro SD card designed for Chromebooks.
So the key here is that we've worked very closely with the Chromebook team to design a very small micro SD card. And here's the thing to remember is that, as I said before, we all have more digital content than ever before. All the students, it's all about digital. If you're learning from home or if you're in the classroom, you're going to be capturing more video, more content, more photos, more music than ever before. So as you said, Mark, one limitation that Chromebooks have is their internal memory. Internal memory is great. It's very reliable. It's very fast. But in order to keep Chromebooks at the right price point for students is that they have to reduce the amount of internal memory. The good news is you can buy more memory that you can simply use a micro SD card, and that's our SanDisk Ultra micro SD card that's been specifically designed, tested, approved by Chromebooks. So it's a simple micro SD card about the size of your pinky fingernail. It comes in up to 250 gigabytes. So it's the fastest instant way to add capacity to your Chromebook. So it's a very simple solution. These products are sold in over 300,000 storefronts around the world. Whether you're walking into a physical store or if you're shopping online, you're going to be able to find the SanDisk Ultra microSD card for Chromebook. So very simple, easy solution, save you a lot of money. Instead of buying the laptop or the Chromebook with the maximum internal storage, you can save a little money by buying a system with a little less internal storage and then adding storage as you need it with a microSD card.
That's a great tip. So you just leave this tiny little micro SD card plugged into the side or back of the Chromebook, and it creates another drive letter. So instead of C, but it'll be like D, and then you can easily copy or cut and paste or even access files off that secondary drive as if it was built-in storage. But why this particular card, Brian, opposed to any micro SD card that you can put in there?
Very good question. The key is all storage is not made the same. First of all, SanDisk Company is the number one brand trusted in the world for memory. These products are very complex when it comes to memory, the firmware, the controller, but the simple answer to that is that we worked hand in hand with the Chromebook team to make sure that you get the right type of speed that's required for your Chromebook, you get the right reliability, and then you get a trusted brand behind it that's both Chromebook and SanDisk together to give you optimal performance.
Got it. And then how much does the storage start at in terms of capacity and the cost as well?
As I said before, Mark, when we think about back to school, it's all about how do you keep these solutions affordable for students, for kids all around the world, right? So we're all concerned about price and trying to really, stretch our dollar, right? Mm-hmm. So from a price standpoint, you can get 64 gigabytes for about $14 US.
Oh, wow.
So it's really, I want to say pennies on the megabyte. So it really comes out to be very affordable. And you can go all the way up to 256 gigabytes of storage, but it's really all about what's a solution that's been tested, approved, certified, that's reliable, that has the Chromebook name on it, in addition to the SanDisk name, at a very simple solution that everyone has access to these products. We really want to make it easy for students out there to have more capacity and to do more of what they need to be doing as students.
Awesome. We are chatting with Brian Pridgeon, Director of Marketing at Western Digital. We're talking back to school time and storage for students without breaking the bank. We just talked about the SanDisk Ultra micro SD cards for Chromebooks. Let's now change gears and talk about the My Passport drives. So these are external drives, again, that you would typically plug into a USB or USB-C port on a computer. But are they hard drives or are they solid state drives or SSDs?
Well, actually, there's two solutions. There is hard drive solutions. Hard drives are great. They're reliable. But typically, hard drives would be at a little bit higher capacity. So, for example, the My Passport hard drive version of this. And by the way, when you think about the size of these devices, don't think about your father's hard drive, right? I want you to think about what hard drives look like today.
Right.
They're, 2.5-inch hard drive inside there. It's probably the half the size of your hand or your palm does. So they fit inside of your palm. Mm-hmm. But the key when it comes to having something that can give you automatic backup protection, which means you're out all day at school, you come home, you plug it in, it'll automatically back up everything for you. So it's about protection, reliability. Now, the difference between a hard drive that we're talking about now versus an SSD really comes down to speed. So if you're kind of a typical student that you really are concerned about having the maximum capacity at a very affordable price point, then you'd probably look at a hard drive. If you want to take your game to a whole nother level when it comes to performance, then you'd be looking at an SSD, is what we call a solid state storage device that is really all about speed up to, well, actually, we should just say over 1,000 megabytes per second. To make it simple, it's super, super, super fast. All right.
Right. And that's because there's no spinning disk like on a platter, like a hard drive. There's no moving parts. It's kind of like the flash memory inside your smartphone.
Absolutely. It'd be comparable to the memory that you would have inside your smartphone. Mm-hmm. So it's solid state technology. It's really optimized for speed, performance, those folks that want to transfer huge amounts of data at one time. So let's say, for example, you have a 4K movie file that you may have copied from a friend, or you've captured a ton of thousands of photos and you want to save time to move it quickly, you'd look at an SSD. If reliability, well, and they're both reliable, right? Whether it's a hard drive or an SSD, but it really depends on the type of speed that you need to accomplish a task that you're working through.
Got it. Now, for either of these drives, Brian, can you password protect them in case, you are going to the classroom, back home, it falls out of your backpack, and that way nobody can access those files?
Yeah, that's the nice thing really about these external storage solutions from Western Digital is it is about security, being able to password protect. So if you do happen to misplace it, or if you just have content that you don't want to share with folks, you can set up your password protection, and therefore other folks won't be able to access your content. So security is really, really important, and we take security seriously.
All right. And then how much do the My Passport drives start at?
Mark, for the 1 terabyte My Passport hard drive version, that's a tremendous amount of storage. The prices are a little bit less than $60 US.
Okay. Brian, it's always great chatting with you. Is there one website that you'd recommend to read up on all the products we've chatted about?
I would recommend you go to westerndigital.com and you can find all of the WD products that we talked about, the My Passport hard drive, the My Passport SSD for super speed. You can also find the SanDisk microSD Ultra microSD for Chromebooks.
In fact, you can go to shop.westerndigital.com to actually buy these items and have it shipped to your door. Brian, thank you so much for your time. Always great chatting with you. I always learn something as well.
Thank you, Mark. It's been a pleasure.
Love his energy. All right, you are listening to Tech It Out. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. This program, Tech It Out, is powered by ASUS for those in search of incredible. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, including its line of award-winning laptops and desktops, monitors, smartphones, tablets, smartwatches, and much more. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. We'll be right back.
Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want. Find the Tech It Out podcast at iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. A new school year has arrived. Well, almost. So it's time to gear up. Tech lifestyle expert Carley Knobloch is with us for her back to school tech tips. Hi, Carley. How's your summer so far? Good to chat with you.
Oh, it's so great to talk to you. Summer's been good. Spent a little time in Canada. Now I'm out in New York and feeling hopeful that things are maybe getting a little bit back to normal.
Yeah, obviously been quite the 17 months. So we're back to another school season. Hopefully it'll be mostly in class for students. But even if it's not, I would argue probably a lot of the same tech that they would rely on is the same, whether they're in classroom or learning virtually or a bit of both.
Yeah, I mean, I would say, we're leaning more heavily on tech now than ever before. It's critical that kids have the right laptops, especially if they're going to be doing anything at home in terms of streaming and classes at home. And the technology is primed and ready to support them in whatever endeavors. And I've got some great brands that I've partnered with that are really cool for whether you're writing a book report or you're doing some incredible multimedia project.
All right. So without further ado, Carley, let's jump in. What new devices should students or the parents of them who may be flipping the bill look for this fall?
Yeah, well, if they're in the market for a new smartphone, they should definitely check out the brand spanking new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 3 5G from AT&T. If you keep it closed, you can still see all your notifications, and then you flip it open to do all your browsing, gaming, group selfies, or fact check your work. It's got blazing fast 5G connectivity, so it won't let you down whether you're streaming your study playlist or uploading your homework just before it's due. And whether you're a new or existing customer, when you pre-order this phone, you can get it for free with an eligible smartphone trade-in. And of course, it has that wow factor that will make you the coolest kid in the hallway with that incredible folding screen. And it makes it really easy to carry, too, because, of course, it folds in half. You can find more about that at att.com/zflip.
Yeah, the Samsung Z Flip, again, it's kind of like what's old is new again, but with a high-tech twist. And by the way, just for all of these devices that we're going to be chatting about today, if you go to backtoschooltech.com, you'll be able to see videos and prices of them as well. So why don't we move on to printing and creativity, two things that are important and related for students.
Totally. And so 2 ideas here. One, we still need our printers, right? And we don't want to run out of ink right before a school project is due. So HP has a service called Instant Ink subscription service, which delivers ink or toner cartridges right to your door before you run out of ink, which is definitely when you want them. And they'll even help you recycle the empties, which is always really nice from a waste point of view. And it's perfect for families and teachers too. And during this back to school season, they're giving teachers 6 months of instant ink for free. And you can find out more about that at hpinstantink.com/teachers.
And I would think, Carley, that in 2021, a laptop would be the most important tech tool in a student's arsenal. Is that fair?
Absolutely. And especially for creativity, you want to make sure that you're picking up the right laptop, like the ones from NVIDIA Studio, an ecosystem of sorts. It's hardware and software that's built for anyone that's doing anything incredibly creative on a computer, like video editors, music makers, graphic artists, and just all around creative kids. They're laptops that have NVIDIA built in, like the HP NV15 that I have here. They keep up with whatever students are working on, really transforming their dorm room into the creative studio that they need to complete their work in record times. And you can find out more about those at nvidia.com/studio.
And speaking of computers, Carley, let's talk about cybersecurity.
Absolutely. Especially as more and more of school life is online, a product like Kaspersky Total Security keeps your child's computer safe from hackers, malware, and ransomware. Plus, it's got a password manager, a VPN, and other privacy tools that keep all your devices working properly and safely. And for just $49.99 per year, it protects up to 5 devices. And you can find that at Kaspersky.com.
And just to bring everybody up to speed, VPN, of course, is Virtual Private Network. This is a piece of software that lets you browse the web anonymously, so nothing can be tracked. I highly recommend using one. I didn't know that it was part of this Kaspersky Total Security suite, which is great. And speaking of suite, let's end off on some student deals with Best Buy.
These are sweet student deals. So if you go to sign up for Best Buy student deals at bestbuy.com/student deals, you can get offers on all of the tech from laptops, tablets, headphones, printers, and so much more. These are exclusive deals just for students. They even include small appliances like mini fridges and coffee makers for your dorm room. I just bought some of those things for my son, who just moved into his brand new apartment this year. New deals are available each week, and you can take advantage of them both in store and online. And again, that URL is bestbuy.com/student deals. But it's a nice little rotating list of products. And so if you go on there, you can sort of like catch a deal as it's happening and really save some cash, which is important.
Awesome. And then the website to learn more about all of these products, again, it's backtoschooltech.com. Is that right?
You got it.
And we can see you in action showing these products too, since this is radio.
Yes, if you want to see my happy little face, you can go to Back to School Tech and watch the video and see all these things in person.
Speaking of which, you're far too young to have a son who is moving out on his own. What is he, 3?
I agree. I completely agree with you, Mark. And yet here we are. He's 20 and
Wow.
It's his 3rd year. Hopefully slightly less compromised than his first 2 years at college. Yeah. But moving into his own place, and it's such a crazy thing.
Awesome. Congrats. Once again, Carley, great to chat with you. Carley Knobloch has been our guest. The website, backtoschooltech.com. Be well. Thank you.
Thank you. You too, Mark.
Now, after this short break, I will also share a few back-to-school picks, including a pair of laptops, a printer you can use with your voice, and some dorm room gear as well. So stick with us. You're listening to Tech It Out on the Radio America Network. I'm your host, Mark Saltzman. Stay with us.
Want to follow Mark? Google him. Mark with a C and Saltzman with a Z. Breaking down geek speak into street speak. This is Tech It Out. Tech It Out with technology columnist, author, and TV personality Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Tech It Out. So as I mentioned earlier in the program, I had a lot of fun on TV over the past week and a half talking about back to school tech. It is that time, and whether kids are going to be heading back to the classroom, and I really hope they are, but depending on where you're listening to this, it could also be at home again, virtual learning, or a bit of both. Could be a hybrid approach, but let's hope that we don't have that 4th wave in a big way and that the kids can go back to school. But regardless, the tech that they need to stay on their game, regardless of their age and subject matter, is more or less the same, I'd argue. And so I thought I would share with you a half dozen recommendations for productivity's sake, or maybe a little bit of fun in the dorm room after hours. So let me share them with you. So I started off with a pair of laptops, and starting with the Microsoft Surface Laptop Go. This is Microsoft's lightest Surface to date at only 1.1 kilograms and less than 16 millimeters thin. So you won't even feel it in your backpack if you're bringing it to and from the classroom or even between rooms in the home. It's super light, yet it has a gorgeous 12.4-inch touchscreen, up to 13 hours of battery life, an HD web camera, some advanced security options like the ability to log in with your fingertip, and a free upgrade to Windows 11 this October. It does ship with Windows 10, and it is available in 3 different colors. The prices start at $599, so portable and relatively affordable as well for a laptop. Again, it's the Surface Laptop Go family from Microsoft. If you need some extra power under the hood, however, and you need a really high-end processor and some advanced graphics, maybe you're studying video production or animation or game design, or you simply want to have a gaming PC to have fun with after school, the HP Omen 15 is a great laptop when power matters. It's a versatile laptop that's great for, again, those demanding school applications as well as for after-hours fun. So it's got a 15.6-inch matte display with fast refresh rates. That's important for gamers. As I mentioned, a powerful CPU with desktop-like performance, 16 gigabytes of RAM or system memory, and despite all of that power and a good cooling technology, of course, to keep all the components cool, it's still thin and has long battery life. There used to be a trade-off where if you wanted a gaming PC, it was really chunky and the battery life was not good, but not the case. About 12 and a half hours worth of battery life between charges, and it's still a relatively thin laptop. So this is the HP Omen 15. Prices start at $1499 and they go up from there. Again, it is more of a high-end laptop. But again, you don't have to buy a laptop for school and then like a gaming system for your TV like an Xbox or PlayStation. It's kind of all in one. And regardless of which laptop or desktop you go with for the student in your home, don't underestimate the importance of good cybersecurity software so students can protect their files while they're working on essays and book reports. The last thing you want is malware or malicious software to delete everything you've been working on. Very frustrating. If you listen to this radio program, you know I use ESET, that's ESET.ca, and they have a 50% off sale for students in August. Again, that's for cybersecurity software. Now, printers, all-in-one printers and copiers and scanners are great because they don't take up a lot of space, but they can do all those tasks. But I hate being nickeled and dimed for cartridges where they cost so much. They always run out at the most inopportune times, like the night before an essay is due. And so I really like the Epson EcoTank family because they do not take cartridges. They use a tank-based system. So these huge mega tanks built into the printer. And out of the box, you get up to 2 years worth of ink. So that's both black and color. And when it is time to replenish that ink, they are inexpensive bottles opposed to pricey cartridges that yield another up to 2 years, which is awesome. And as I mentioned, it's a scanner and a copier as well. It's wireless, so you can print from all your devices, smartphones, tablets, laptops, and desktops. And if you have a smart speaker, like a Google Nest or an Amazon Alexa smart speaker, you know, the Echo family, you can print with your voice. You can tell your printer to print lined paper or graph paper or anything like that, calendars, activities for the little kids, and so on. So the prices for the Epson EcoTank family start at $199. For the remaining 3 items, they're great for a dorm room. I have twins returning to university. They're 19, and they enjoy tech in their dorm rooms just as their fellow students. So if music is important to the student in your home, Best Buy has the JBL Charge 5 wireless speaker available. This is an incredibly powerful yet small Bluetooth or wireless speaker that's really loud but has well-balanced mids, highs, and lows. Really great sounding speaker. In fact, it's got a 30-watt subwoofer built into this speaker, which is smaller than a football, comes in a lot of different colors. So despite its small size, it's really big on sound for whatever you pair with it. Mostly it's a smartphone, but you can pair a tablet with this, a laptop. It's waterproof if you do want to take it outside of your dorm room or your bedroom. Up to 20 hours of battery life. And speaking of battery, you can power up your smartphone with this thing. As it has a built-in USB port. So it's like a power bank, if you will, or a backup battery solution to charge up a smartphone. It's $179, and again, it's the JBL Charge 5, available at Best Buy and BestBuy.com. Smart lighting is very trendy among students, especially those smart strips that you can put around your bed and so on. Wiz Connected is a great brand of smart lighting because they do not require a bridge. Some smart lights out there, you have to buy a separate box that plugs into your router, not with Wiz Connected. With smart lights, of course, you can use an app or your voice to turn them on and turn them off, change to different colors, up to 16 million colors just by saying the color that you want to see. You can set timers and schedules and a lot more. Plus, they sip rather than gulp electricity because they're LED based. The Wiz A19 full color bulb, a 4-pack, is only $49. And again, no bridge needed. And $49 for the starter kit for the full color light strip. That's 2 meters long, by the way. And you can add on more if you like. The company again is Wiz Connected, W-I-Z. And then finally, a smart TV for the dorm room, a premium TV without a premium price. I'm referring to the Hisense U68G 4K ULED Android TV. So this ULED television technology has quantum dot, if you've heard that phrase, for better color. So very rich color, the full spectrum. Plus it has Dolby Vision HDR or high dynamic range for better contrast and brightness. Because it's a smart TV with the Android platform, you've got access to the Google Play Store. It's got a built-in Google Assistant. So not only does it have a voice remote so you can say what you feel like watching, but you can also ask questions or control your smart lights and all that from that remote. It's got built-in Chromecast so you can stream content wirelessly from your smartphone or tablet to the TV or even from your laptop, and a lot more. It's $579 for the 50-inch Hisense U68G TV, and then prices go up from there. So $699 for the 50-inch version of the Hisense U68G 4K ULED Android TV. Well, there you have it, a look at some back-to-school gadgets for both productivity as well as for fun, just ahead of a brand new school season. When we return on Tech It Out, we're going to learn about MeetKai. This is a new AI-powered personal assistant. Stick with us.
Breaking down geek speak into street speak. Tech It Out, hosted by Mark Saltzman.
Welcome back to Tech It Out. Billed as the first concierge built with artificial intelligence, or AI, MeetKai is a virtual assistant designed to make your life easier through conversation, personalization, and curation. Your on-demand helper could help you discover movies, TV shows, recipes, and restaurants just for you. Joining us to explain how it works is James Kaplan, CEO of MeetKai, which is spelled MEETKAI. Welcome to the show, James. Good to chat with you.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for the great introduction as well. Very eager to talk about our technology.
Awesome. With that in mind, why don't we jump right in? At a high level, what is MeetKai all about?
Sure. So we're a conversational intelligence company, and we really bill ourselves as that, as opposed to just saying we only do voice assistant, because our real goal is to bring conversation to every different platform over every different media. And we think that using AI for conversational capabilities is where people are going to find the most value in their day-to-day life. And that's why we've released this first product of our conversational personalized voice assistant.
Okay, so MeetKai is the first in a family of conversational artificial intelligence products. Is that right?
Yes, and we really think that the technology itself and the ability to have conversation is going to be very instrumental to AI in the next few years.
And why do you think that is? Why is conversation, quote unquote, so important when it comes to interfacing with your technology?
I think it's because most of the current forms of voice interaction are really command-based. Right now you're really just saying things like turn thermostat on, turn lights off.
Not really human.
Exactly. Sure. So we want to have conversations. And I think that's especially true when we're trying to find content and search. People have been tuned and trained that they can only search in terms of keywords. You can only say black dress, Italian restaurant. You can't say something more comprehensive, as if you were talking to a friend of like, I feel like an Italian restaurant for dinner, but I don't want pizza. That's how we want to talk to people. And that's really our goal. And, AI, for all the intelligence that we see in different platforms in terms of self-driving cars, image recognition, the piece of conversation, I think, has largely been neglected.
Interesting. So with your example in mind, like, hey, I want to go for dinner, but I don't want pizza. If you typed or said that in another personal assistant platform, like let's say Google Assistant or Siri or Alexa, would you not get those kinds of results?
Actually, yes, you would not. And the reason is because what those assistants are really doing is they're taking what you say in the audio, turning that into text, and then pulling out the keywords from that sentence.
Right.
They see Italian restaurant and pizza. They have no capability of figuring out the context.
I remember this trick with Google.com that if you type in the search window restaurants minus pizza, like dash pizza with no space, that would work, but not conversationally.
Exactly. And that's really the critical issue in my mind. And that's, what we set out from the beginning to solve, in that we want to enable people to talk to AI the same way they would talk to a person, not, like having to memorize plus and minus. And, the classic Google think of, oh, you have to put quotes around this phrase.
Yeah, that's
so
right.
It's like, it's Google is an amazing tool, but it's not a conversational search engine. It's a search engine.
That said, James, I might challenge you on the realism of the voice that you hear back from these smart assistants, like Google, as well as Alexa and Siri. They're getting really lifelike. In fact, you can now personalize with Siri the kinds of voices that you hear as well. But what you're talking about is more about understanding the query.
Yes. So when I think of conversation from our side, the most important effects are first the ability to understand the query. The second is to understand who the person is and what they like, their personalization. And the last one, which is, I think, equally important as the previous two, is the ability to understand, what was just said. No one wants to talk to a person that has a short-term memory of 5 seconds.
So your platform, MeetKai, not only will understand if you, just to stick with your example again, and if you have others, I'd love to hear it, about wanting something to eat, but not this. Similarly, it gets to know you over time and your likes and dislikes. So if you ask for a restaurant in the future, it might remember that you like Italian, for example, opposed to, say, Chinese or Indian.
Yes, and the cool part about understanding sort of people's tone and how they speak about different restaurants as well, and them saying, no, I hate that, as opposed to just no after we give them a result, it's just like a person. If someone recommended you, a pizza place, and you said, oh, I hate pizza, then they would probably remember not to say, how about this pizza place? How about that pizza place every 3 minutes? And, I think that it's, restaurants is one example where it's pretty critical, but it's also true in a number of our other domains that we support right now, for streaming content.
Yeah, I'd love to hear some other examples of how your AI works.
Sure. So for streaming content, one of the most impactful things that we can help people with is finding content over multiple turns with sort of really dynamic ways of understanding how the conversation evolves. So if you search for a movie, say, find me a Tom Cruise movie available on Amazon, and let's say it gives you Mission Impossible. You can then say something like, I don't want to watch a Mission Impossible movie. And then it will continuously thread down, recommend a different action movie, perhaps. And that's pretty true universally. And it can happen across multiple turns or single turn. It's the conversation, and the AI is able to actually understand how that moves. And, one of my favorite examples is that, a lot of times there's actors who are in a very wide array of shows and content. So, find me the movie with The Rock that is not Moana, since a lot of people love movies with Dwayne Johnson, but they might not always like animated movies.
Or a movie they've already seen and they want something else.
Exactly. And, for us, that's one of our core technologies, is that we see search not just as looking for the keywords on the page, but really as sort of traversing this graph of all of this different content that you've interacted with in the past and could in the future to find the ideal result.
Okay, very cool. We're going to continue learning about MeetKai after this short break. You are listening to Tech It Out. Stick with us. We'll be right back.
Follow Mark Saltzman on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram. Listen to Tech It Out whenever you want.
We are chatting with James Kaplan, Chief Executive Officer of MeetKai, and that's MEETKAI. This is a platform built on conversation, personalization, and curation. Without further ado, James, I'd love to hear what MeetKai sounds like as far as a personal assistant. I think we're used to hearing a human-like voice reply. So could we hear a sample of a query, maybe tied to a TV show or some sort of streaming content, and what we may hear back?
Show me an Emma Watson movie that's not Harry Potter.
What do you think of the perks of being a wallflower?
I already saw that one. How about something else?
What do you think of Beauty and the Beast?
What's a good pizza restaurant with delivery so that I can order one?
What do you think of Mama's Pizza?
Great, let's get an Uber Eats.
All right.
All right, so that's pretty cool, James. If you ask that same question to, say, Google or Alexa or Siri, you wouldn't get that kind of reply?
Exactly. When they hear negation, even though they understand the voice that was said, it means nothing to them when it's actually run through the search.
Got it. And can you change the voice, or is it the same for everybody?
We've been working on that, actually. And I think that one of the things that we want to do in the long term is have the voice adapt with you over time based on how you interact with it.
Very cool. Is there a way to make MeetKai the default smart assistant on, say, your smartphone or tablet, or do you need to open up the app first?
So on iOS, currently, we need to have people open up the app due to limitations to the platform. But for Android, we're currently working with some of the handset vendors to enable that functionality, or we could be set as the default assistant. Currently, I think that we kind of see ourselves as offering a different set of functionality compared to the current default assistants, because, if you want to do something like call dad, text mom, then, you can just use your default assistant for that. We focus on the much more lifestyle aspect right now as our first foray into the market of, we want to make sure that we can handle the conversational search capabilities first. Since those are much harder, we want to start there. And, as we kind of settle on the default integration into Android, we will be adding those types of functionalities.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, it seems that MeetKai is all about finding content to consume or food to eat, but obviously use smart assistants for many other features, like add this to the calendar, or how long will it take for me to get to this address, or what time is it in Cairo? So are you able to handle some of those queries as well?
So we handle some of them now. We've kind of delayed the implementation there, and that's why we kind of call ourselves a concierge rather than an assistant all the time. Because, the concierge is like, you want to ask them for restaurant recommendations, what to watch, what to do.
And just before we wrap up, how much is MeetKai?
So MeetKai is actually free. Our real goal right now is to get it into the hands of users, since this is our version 1, and start collecting feedback. We're available on the App Store and Google Play, as well as on a few of the other alternative app stores for Android.
So you just go to the App Store if you're on iPhone or iPad, or the Google Play Store if you're on Android. What's the official website?
MeetKai.com.
Sorry about that. So MeetKai.com, MEETKAI.com. You can also use it on the web.
Right now our web version is still in development, but we have a download link for the stores from the site.
Got it. James, thank you so much for your time. James Kaplan has been our guest. Very exciting technology. I wish you much luck and success as it continues to evolve, and have a great rest of your summer.
Thank you, Mark. You as well, and stay safe.
Once again, the website is meetkai.com, MEETKAI.com. Hey, if you're on social media this weekend, come by and say hi. Let me know what you think of Tech It Out. Any suggestions you've got for an upcoming topic or a guest you think I should interview? It's Mark Saltzman, MarkSaltzman, and I'm on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, and YouTube. So pick your poison. I don't know which social platforms you like to play on, but I am around this weekend, so be sure to drop by and say hi. And if you want to follow me on social media, I write a tech tip of the day, as many of you may know. So a little tip or trick to get more out of your tech in plain English, often accompanied by a video, just to show you how to save time or money or aggravation with tech. And it doesn't matter if it's a smartphone or a TV or a laptop, a smart speaker. I try to cover it all. So I hope you enjoy those. Let me know what you think. Or if you've got a tech question for me, you can always hit me up on social media. I'm pretty good at replying to those. And if you prefer email, it's tech@marksaltzman.com. So that's TECH@MarkSaltzman.com. For the minute we have left on Tech It Out, I want to thank ASUS, the title sponsor on this program, for their ongoing support. ASUS creates technology for today and tomorrow's smart life, and that includes its line of award-winning laptops and desktops. They have monitors, smartphones, tablets, smart watches, and much more. For those in search of incredible, visit asus.com/US/radio for more info. That's asus.com/US/radio. And yes, it is pronounced Asus, like Jesus, but a lot of my friends say Asus. It's all good. The company gets that all the time. They don't mind. Anyhow, you should check out their ZenBooks and VivoBooks. Hey, have a great rest of your weekend, everyone. Stay healthy, and I look forward to catching up with you next time on a brand new episode of Tech It Out.